Hello, we are so excited to have you join us at the Takoradi Westin Serene Atlantic Hotel, where this year's edition of the SEDAT HR Conference is being held. It's going to be a transformative experience. We'll have various speakers who will be sharing on various topics to ensure that we bridge the gap from policy to practice and creating a workplace where everyone feels heard, valued and supported. See you at the conference hall.
So today we had a really interesting session. It started with me giving a keynote address on well-being, and making a strong case for well-being as a requirement to create a workplace that's empathetic, that's supportive, that allows for employees to truly give up their best every single day they come to work.
And it says that for every $1 spent on mental health, companies see a $2 to $4 return in improved productivity and reduced absenteeism.
I did also present the financial benefits of taking employee well-being seriously.
I'm Felicia Opoku-Folice, Head of HR and Admin for Taka Ghana. I'm very happy to be here at this year's SEDAT Conference, which is focusing on embedding mental health and well-being into HR practice.
And it's really helped because as line managers, we see our employees a lot, what they go through on a daily basis. There should be, just as you have like first aid, if someone gets a cut or a bruise in the workplace, if you have a mental health first aider or you're a supervisor, you are a trained mental health first aider, you can learn to recognize some of the signs and symptoms of mental health issues that is going on with your employees and appropriately intervene.
I think we've done the talk for a very long time. It's time to move into action and, incorporate a lot of well-being activities into our workplace. Oftentimes, it's very difficult to convince leadership, but we need to move beyond thinking about the cost and think of the benefits that having well-being in the workplace will do for the organization. So thank you very much.
So my name is Kwame, I work with Talo Oil. Today has been an exciting day for me. We've been treating a very important topic to me, employee well-being.
And think about it, health, productivity, and economic growth, and that's why you can separate.
And today I've spoken a lot about the importance of doing it, the benefit to the organization. And in fact, well-being is not just the right thing to do, it's a smart business decision. And employee organizations who focus on the employee well-being outperform others who do not. And there were a lot of examples that I show. Now, hopefully for some of you who were not able to join us today, can go to the SEDAT social media pages to access some of the snippets of the conversation. It's an ongoing conversation, and as HR leaders, we need to take on this charge, challenge the status quo within organization, and push the cause forward. Thank you very much.
I see this opportunity to learn, grow, and network, and also shape the future of human resource management in Ghana. Once again, welcome and thank you for coming. I wish you all the best.
Hello, my name is Patricia Abnakisi, the CEO of SEDAT Consult, organizers of the SEDAT HR Conference 2025 in Takoradi. I'd like to especially thank all participants for making it to the conference. You made the investment of time, you made the investment of money, and you made this conference a success. We are grateful to you. Many thanks to our speakers, our keynote speaker and all the speakers. We appreciate you for coming, for sharing your experiences and your strategies with the participants. To our sponsors, thank you so much. Without you, we couldn't have done this. Thank you, Apex Health. Thank you, KK Insurance Brokers. Thank you, all our partners, the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Okante Studios. Thank you very much, Rivia. Thank you, My Health Corp. Thank you, SHRM. Thank you, SHRP. Thank you, HR Network Africa. Thank you, all our media partners. We are grateful for coming on board. I invite everyone. This is going to be an annual conference. So we'll come again next year to Takoradi, the Oil City, and we expect many more people to jump on the board and be part of this conference. Thank you, and God bless you.
I think this has been a useful session, and I encourage all of you to look out for the next SEDAT HR conference, and please do attend because you learn quite a lot. I've been quite motivated by some of the attendants and some of the things they've told me, the length to which people have gone to be able to be here today. I truly appreciate that, and I hope that next one you will be as well. Thank you.
I'm Comfort Hughes.
I'm Kofi Annan from Good News FM.
Okay, ma'am, this program has been very insightful and very educative, I must say. I wasn't really expecting this. I knew I was going to learn a lot, but not to this extent. And I believe that we all have also learned one thing or the other.
My name is Ebinedo Mante. I'm from Focus One Group. I came to SEDAT Conference 2025, and my experience so far is I've loved all the presentations, the presentations that were given by the facilitators. They spoke about how we are going to implement HR practice in our workplace, and I think it's a good thing when someone is well treated in your workplace, but the person is going to also work for the company to enjoy.
This program has indeed opened my eyes on various aspects in the HR practices. For instance, I've learned that happy employee improves productivity. So with this program, it will help us to at least improve on our performance and also increase productivity, so that at least the organization will benefit, we the employees will also benefit, and it will also help us to at least know our left from the right when it comes to employee well-being and then how employees are treated in the organization. So,
Hi, you are looking so good.
thank you very much.
I would like you to briefly introduce yourself to us.
Okay, I'm Rahman Badir from Raleigh Enterprise.
Share with me what has been your highlight so far in this conference. You know, SEDAT Conference 2025.
Oh, okay. This conference, I've actually learned a lot, you understand. I've learned a lot about employees' well-being, you understand. So the employees' well-being actually contributes to a high productivity. And I also learned that HR isn't just one person. HR is everyone, because the well-being of a company, although it's the HR's major thing to put into consideration, but everyone can also be an HR in a company, and that's what I've actually learned here.
Hello.
Hi, you're looking so good.
Thank you. I'd like you to briefly introduce yourself to us, you know, spark us with your beautiful outfit.
Okay, so my name is Vivian Selassie Opokunyano. I'm with missions across the West, and we are into crusades across the western parts of Ghana. And when I heard about the conference, I thought it was a good place to come and learn some knowledge about HR and all that here.
And I hope your expectation has been met.
Beyond my expectation. For me, so right from the entrance to the whole thing, I felt very, excited about it. I feel the event has been well organized.
the speakers too are on point. And for me, the highlight was when they said that we need to prioritize employee well-being over profit.
This is Pastor Samosona Brobe. This has been the 2025 edition of the SEDAT HR Conference right here in the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel. It is not costly to have empathy. And for that matter, there's more on investment when we care for our employees. Together, we should be on this call. Next year, we will meet again. Until then, SEDAT Consult has been with us throughout this period. Thank you very much for being part of this project.
Wow, the SEDAT HR Conference 2025 was indeed a transformative and insightful experience. Our speakers highlighted on valuable topics, and we are so certain that all our participants have been equipped to integrate employee well-being into the very fabric of their organizations. Thank you, our dear sponsors, KEK, Apex Health. And I also want to thank our partners, Revia, My Health Corp, Okante Studios, Voltic, all our partners for making this possible. Follow us on all our social media platforms to stay connected and have insights from this conference. My name is Supernatural Intem. See you at the SEDAT HR Conference 2026. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching. This is another episode of the SEDAT HR Digest brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited, your trusted HR partner. At SEDAT Consult, we help you focus on your core business while we help you manage your entire workforce, right from hiring to training to rewarding and recruiting more talent and also ensuring their development. We ensure all of that for your organization. So reach out to SEDAT Consult and we would ensure that we help your workforce the way that will enable you achieve the objectives of your organization. Right. Today's episode is going to be a very, very insightful one. This should even be a paid episode, right? We are going to help you have a glimpse of what will be taking place at the SEDAT HR Conference, Takoradi Edition this year. That's on the 30th of April. So we are going to be having one of our very special speakers who will be joining us here and we'll dive into the conversation. Once again, this is brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited. Wherever you are watching us from, let us know in the comment section where you're watching us from, and we will be glad to read that out to our audience. Let us know where you're watching us from, your name, and wherever you're watching us from. Also ensure that you share the link to your various platforms to have others join this conversation. Right, we'll be diving into the conversation very soon. I want to see a few of you in the comment section. Let us know where you are watching us from. Introduce yourself and where you are joining us from. All right, so I'll be having an amazing speaker joining us. I'll briefly let you know who she is, and then she'll join us here for the conversation. All right. So our speaker joining us today is Madam Felicia Opoku-Felice, and she's an accomplished HR professional with 19 years of progressive human resource management experience. and development of high-performing teams through recruitment, training, organizational development, evaluation of performance, and employee well-being. Felicia's experience has been both in the United Kingdom and Ghana and spans from various industries such as oil and gas, energy, retail, education, consulting, pharmaceutical, and healthcare. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the Open University, UK, an MBA in Human Resource Management from the University of Wales, and an MSc Business Psychology from the University of East London. Felicia is a business psychologist, a chartered fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, UK, a Maxwell Leadership Certified team member, and a global advisory member of the Center for Synchronous Leadership's Agent of Change. This is the amazing speaker that we are going to be having with us today, and we'll be zooming into the conversation soon. Once again, wherever you are watching us from, put that in the comment section. Introduce yourself briefly and let us know where you are joining us from. And kindly share this link to have others join us. This is going to be a sneak peek into what to expect at this edition of the SEDAT HR conference. Right, so I'll have Madame Felicia join me right away and we will dive into today's conversation. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Supernatural. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm so excellent and I'm so glad to have you here.
Likewise, I'm glad to be here today.
Right. So we'll be going into the conversation for today. Before we zoom into a bit more of your particular session at the SEDAT HR conference this year, I want to suggest we look briefly at the theme for this year's conference. Authentic employer branding, purpose, people, and public trust. Now, personally to you, what does this theme mean, and why do you think it's an important conversation for us to have now?
So, to me, employer branding is about alignment and ensuring that what an organization says is externally truly reflects what the employee experiences internally. Because sometimes, what employers create out there or want people to think is not actually what happens inside the organization. It's about purpose that is lived and not just stated. You find all these mission and vision statements, which
Yeah.
include being the top employer, of whatever. But when you dive into the organization, you find that it's a totally different story. And it's
Right.
also about people who feel seen and valued, and public trust that is earned through consistency. So consistency matter. It matters a lot. It's not about being that good employer today and then tomorrow you change your goalpost and all that. You need to be very consistent. So this conversation is especially important now because employees are more informed, they are more vocal, and they are more value driven than ever. So organizations can no longer rely on polished messaging out there and think that it will just sit well with everyone. So they must demonstrate authenticity in action. So to me, this is what the team really means.
Right.
By what you
Amazing.
see. Yes.
Yeah, I love that perspective. Right, so let's zoom a little bit into your session. I know you'll be, your focus is more into the building a people first workforce. Um, why do you think this specific focus is critical in this moment?
Okay. We are in a highly competitive and evolving market where people have options. There's a lot of options,
Right.
and expectations have shifted. It's no longer just about attracting talent. It's about creating meaningful experiences that makes people want to stay and grow.
Right.
Sometimes people go into organizations and then the next minute they realize that this is not the experience they had envisioned for themselves. And the next minute they are exiting. So a people first approach is now a business imperative and not just a nice to have. Because organizations that fail to prioritize their workplace, they risk losing both talent and relevance. You think you have a good talent there, but there are other organizations also scouting for good talent. So if you lose guard, as in quotes, as we say, you will have other organizations approaching your employees, and by the time you realize, you've lost all your top talent. So for me, it's a very critical conversation which we don't need to overlook.
Right. So on a personal level, was there a moment in your life or experience in your career that actually shaped your belief in terms of putting people first?
Yes, I mean, I've experienced this firsthand in some time back,
Right.
where I've seen the turnover was so high and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I went in and within, I would say, about a year and a half into my tenure, people were just leaving. And it's not just about pay, you know, they felt unheard and undervalued. And even as someone in leadership who would be given advice on different approaches that we can also use to have people staying, I also felt unheard. So in the end, what did I have to do? I mean, I also have to leave because it's not just about the money. You want to go to work and feel valued
Yeah.
because you want your contributions to be heard. You want it to be incorporated into, the work that is ongoing. So if you give ideas and you put in all your effort and you still feel unheard, um, you will not feel happy, and eventually you will live. So it's shaped my understanding that how we treat people daily defines organizational success. It's not just about the money that you are putting into people's pockets. So yeah, I mean that's just one experience that I've had so far.
Oh. You just mentioned how that actually shaped your mindset on how you value people shapes the and defines the organization, right? So let's just go a little bit more into that. How has that experience influenced the way you approach people or leadership or even the organizational culture today?
So it has made me very intentional about listening. For me, listening is the key to solving people problems because sometimes what we think people need is not what they need. And most of the time, they are trying to communicate something to us, but we are not listening. So if you are not listening, how can you meet people at the point of their need? So listening for me is very, very important, especially when you are in a leadership position and you need to demonstrate empathy as well and create safe spaces for people to express themselves. There are some organizations, the leaders are not accessible. And even if they are accessible, they are unapproachable. So if people have issues, as soon as the boss enters, you see everyone just starts running helter skelter. People have issues, but they can't talk about it. Why we are not running a military camp? And even in military camps, I'm sure there is room for people to express themselves, So I think that for me now, I focus on building cultures where feedback is not only welcomed, but also acted upon, and where leaders are accountable for employees' experience and not just business outcomes. We shouldn't just be focused on bringing in the numbers and be too focused on profitability. We should also be focused on what people need and also act upon it. We shouldn't just collect the feedback and then just stop where we need to act on it.
Right. And many organizations usually describe themselves as people first, right? Yet the employees themselves don't feel that way. Why do you think that gap exists? And where exactly do you think organizations are falling short when it comes to truly putting people first?
I think the gap still exists because many organizations treat people first as a slogan. It's just a slogan and it becomes like a marketing tool. They just say it rather than it's becoming a strategy that they are actually acting upon. There's often, a disconnect between leadership intent and employee experience because, as I said earlier on, sometimes what the leaders think the employees need actually is not what they need. And that's because they are not listening. So
Yeah.
organizations fall short when they prioritize short-term results over long-term people investments, and they fail to listen actively or implement policies without considering real employee needs. Ask yourself, there are organizations that do these, culture surveys annually and all that. How
Yeah.
many of them truly put in action plans to address the negative outcomes or
Yeah.
the comments that the people have, and do they follow through to ensure that they are giving the best outcome to people based on what they've said? So all these things create that kind of gap. It shouldn't just be a slogan or a marketing tool we are using just to be like a nice to have for the organization, but it should be
Yeah.
something we should be acting on. And I think that the gap exists because we are not acting on what the employees really need. And we're just assuming and then throwing things at them, which are not necessarily what they need at that point in
Right.
time. So,
Right.
yeah.
Insightful. So, if you were to challenge one mindset, I know you've spoken about the shifting from just slogans to actually being really strategic. But if you could challenge one mindset that leaders have about employees today, what would it be?
One mindset I would challenge is the belief that employees should simply be grateful to have a job. Listen,
Wow.
I mean, I've been in a leadership room before, and I've had one top leader say that, and
Interesting.
actually, I was very shocked. It's like, oh, uh, when they leave, where are they going? There are no jobs available. Yes, I've heard it.
Yeah,
I've
that
heard
they are
it.
doing us a favor.
Yes, they think they're doing you a favor and they are giving you money to go home. So you should be grateful you have a job. And I've not
Wow.
just heard it once, I've heard it severally, in different rooms. And, today's workplace is looking for purpose, it's looking for growth, it's looking for
Right.
respect and not just a paycheck. So leaders must shift from control to collaboration, and they
Right.
need to have the mindset that they need the people to actually achieve whatever strategy that the organization has put in place. So they need to realize that you need the employee and the employee needs you. So we need each other. So we
Yeah.
need to work together hand in hand. It's not a favor. You know. I think that's one
Amazing.
mindset that
Yeah.
I'll challenge. Yeah.
Amazing. Right. And what is one difficult truth that you think organizations need to accept if they truly want to attract and retain the right talent?
Um, you cannot retain top talent without evolving as an organization. You
Okay.
need to be abreast with time. You need to know what the trends are in terms of employee development, providing new modern tools for employees to work with, and all that. Um, what worked 5 years ago will not work today,
Right.
right? So organizations must be willing to rethink leadership styles, workplace structures, and employee value propositions as well. So, for example, I mean, that now we have all these AI
Yeah.
in the workplace and all that, but you are still running on your archaic methods of tools, giving it to people, making people's jobs difficult. If a
Yeah.
new employer comes in who has better tools for people to work, I mean, it makes it easier for people. Why would they stay with you rather than moving to the next employer? So we need to evolve. Organizations need to evolve and stay abreast with new trends so that they can retain their talents. And that's a truth that they need to know.
Right. Okay, we'll get back to that surely. Now, wherever you're watching us from, we want to engage with you. Let us know in the comment section, right? Your name and where you are joining us from. And also, if you have questions, put them in the comment section because we are so willing to address these questions, right? And also ensure that you share the link to have others join us on the conversation. Adam Isa, I see you, says absolutely. Creating a safe space where employees feel heard and valued is crucial for building trust and a positive organizational culture. Well said, Adam. Thank you for your contribution. Right. So back to our conversation. So, Madam Felicia, I'm looking at a few professionals who are watching us now, and even those who are here to watch us, and they are wondering, what are a few things that I can begin to do now? Like, where should they begin if they want to become more people first? And what are those few practical shifts that can immediately improve their employee experience?
Okay, so organizations need to start with listening. The key is listening. The first point is to listen, because if you don't listen, you don't get the point. And genuinely understanding employees' needs through feedback and engagement. Once you have listened and then you have the feedback that you need to prioritize transparent communication. You need to be transparent, as I said, and then you're not shifting the goalpost. Today you are saying this, tomorrow you are saying that. You are not being consistent. You need to invest in leadership development. Some organizations don't like training their employees at all, because their mindset is, oh, if I train them today, what if they leave? But what if they don't leave and they are in the organization within the next 20 years? You are still missing out on something. So you need to invest in leadership development, and you need to recognize and reward meaningfully as well. Some organizations don't have proper reward structures in place. When they're increasing salaries, it's just across board. Their performance bonuses, they don't have proper structures for rewarding people. So there's no clear difference between someone who is underperforming and people who are top performers. You need to put all those structures in place. It's a good employer branding tool, which helps in retaining employees as well. You also need to create clear growth and development pathways. Sometimes you see someone enter the organization as a junior mechanic or whatever it is. 20 years down the line, they are still in the same job. They are not improving. They are not growing. There's no clear career pathways. And then you realize that someone who is senior to that person resigns, and now they are now scouting the market looking for someone else to replace them. What have you been doing all this while? No good succession plans in place. You are not developing your people. And, it becomes a fact within the organization. So people would, oh, this place, if you come here within the next 5 years, if you don't move with outside the organization, you are not going anywhere. You are just stuck in your job. So that clear career growth needs to be established so that people can see growth within themselves. And it also helps the organization, as I said, in their long-term people strategy as well, to fill in gaps, especially when someone goes on retirement or should someone resign abruptly as well. So small, consistent actions build trust over time. These are not big things, but when you do it consistently, you actually build trust within your workforce, and it creates a clear people strategy where employees start to trust the brand and also believe in the organization as well.
Right. I think earlier you mentioned that if organizations are looking at how to retain top talent, they have to consider evolving a lot. Now,
Yes.
you would think that it's very logical that every organization should be evolving because the world is evolving. But here's the case: we have organizations who are not evolving that much. So, what is causing that gap, and how do we resolve that for such organizations?
I think that first of all, they need to have the awareness that if you don't evolve, you are losing out to your competitors. One, it may be in profits, and two, in terms of talent as well, because employees will leave. As simple as it sounds, if you are not implementing new ways of doing things, so let me give you a point. Before the COVID hit, I had a friend who worked in a particular organization, and she wasn't well, and her job, the kind of job that she was doing within the organization, it was a job that she could actually do remotely, or even any from anywhere. and she was returning from maternity leave as well, actually. And then she wasn't well, so she wanted extra time. And then she told her managers that, look, I can work from home maybe 3 days in a week and then come in 2 days because I'm still healing and recuperating and all that.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you need to come to the office. And then COVID hit. And then COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
And this is someone she had requested for them to buy a laptop for her so that she can work, because she was only using a desktop, which is sitting really in the office. So it means that if she's in the office, she can't work. Meanwhile, it's a job that she can do from home, right? And now COVID hit, and then they are running helter-skelter to now go and buy her a laptop. Why didn't you do it earlier?
Yeah.
You are not evolving as an organization. So we need to look within our structures and then see what is happening within the world, and also align based on our business needs. Actually, we don't just need to jump on the bandwagon just because everyone is doing remote work and that, but see what works best for your organization and then adapt to it. That is the best way, because now people are looking for flexibility. People are not necessarily looking for high paying jobs and all that. And I think for me, my family knows as well. There are certain kind of industries and jobs. They know if you give me 1 billion Ghana cedis, I'll not even do it, because I prioritize my time with my kids over anything else. So anything that would come and throw me off, I'm not going to do it. So every time that I go into a job interview and I get asked what works best for you, I tell you, look, I'm balancing motherhood and all these things and all that. I'll deliver by all means 120% of your targets for you, but there needs to be that kind of flexibility within the environment. And I'm very happy to say that, I mean, most of the employers that I've been with, I've had that kind of flexibility to manage my home and then balancing work and all that. So it's really worked for me. So, and I think I'm doing so, assuming that they hadn't accepted it. Well, that's their loss, because someone else have accepted me, and I was doing well within that organization. You get it? So evolving is very good. And organizations, if you don't do that, you are the one who is losing out, and you'll be losing out time on, as I said, profits and also on good talent. So it's a conversation that they really need to rethink. It may be costly sometimes, but you need to look at the cost benefits that it will bring to you, and then make that shift effectively as well.
I really appreciate the emphasis on the alignment based on the organizational needs, right? And you were speaking about balancing, and I think this is somewhat of a challenge for some professionals, because they are looking at how can I balance driving performance while still genuinely, prioritizing my people. Yeah. So how can they do that?
Okay, so we need to organizations and leaders need to understand that performance and people are not competing priorities. They are interconnected, right? Because you need the people to do the job for the performance outcomes to show. So when people feel supported, when people feel valued, when they feel empowered, performance naturally improves, because they have the right mental frame to do their work. And the key is to set clear expectations while improving the resources and environment needed for people to succeed. So you can't expect me to drive X and YZ performance when you haven't provided me with the right tools and the right environment to thrive. It's just not going to happen. So performance and people, they are not on opposite sides, and they are not competing priorities. So that shift in the mindset has to be made within the organization and with the leadership as well, and make sure that we are providing the right tools and the right environment for people to thrive. That's the only way that you can drive performance outcomes.
Right. Thank you for that. If you are watching us, this is SEDAT HR Digest, and we are having a conversation about our upcoming conference, the SEDAT HR Conference, Takoradi Edition, which will hold at the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel on the 30th of April. And we are just giving you a glimpse of what to expect. Now, if you are listening to us, well, you can already imagine the insights that you are going to have in that room. So you want to make sure that you don't miss this conference. You register. The registration link has been posted on our comment area. So you make sure that you begin to register now. We only have a few days to the conference. It's 30th of April. So you want to make sure you are registering now, for the conference. So, right. At this point, I want you to just paint a picture for us. We want to see a very clear difference. Okay. What does a workplace look like when people are truly prioritized versus when a people first culture is fully embraced? Like, what's that difference? We want to see that picture. If you can paint that picture for us.
Okay. So, in a non-people first workplace where employees are not prioritized, they are like on the bottom of the ecosystem, you will see disengagement, you will see high turnover, you will see poor communication, and you see a culture of fear and silence. I have witnessed this firsthand, right? And it's not a very pleasant place to be. People come to work and there's fear, and they're not able to even give their good ideas, because even when you articulate your ideas, you are scared to be labeled as being silly or stupid. So there's no room to even engage and collaborate within the team. And in that kind of environment, you see people saying, say, "Ejuma na nyame papa dia," like they'll just come to work. They are there in body, but in spirit, they are not there. They will come, they will deliver, but they will not go the extra mile. There's nothing like extra mile. When they close, they will put off their phones. You will call them 1,000,000 times. They will not respond.
Once they close, that's it. That's the end.
Apong or coffee, they are closed. You understand? There's no edge to give that extra, because the place is not conducive. So why should I come and stress myself even when I'm home? If you call me, I'll not pick up.
Right.
But in a people first culture, you find trust, you find collaboration, you find open communication, and employees who feel a sense of ownership and belonging. And in those kind of workplaces also, you find that the turnover is very low. I've been in an organization where the average length of service for a person is 10 years. And this is a place where some people in top management, they started their national service there, and they are still there 25 years down the line.
Wow.
Why do you think they are there? It's because there is something good there which is keeping them. One, maybe clear career pathways, because as I said, some of them came in as national service person. You find someone being the operations manager, someone is this and that, someone is a top engineer, this and that. So you can see the clear difference. And in that environment, I realized that they take the job personal. I mean, the business. They take the business personal. It's like you would think that their grandfather died and willed the business to them. Yes. So you can see the clear difference within these two organizations. So when you prioritize your people, you are also prioritizing your business as well, because it is these people you will need to drive your business outcomes. So if you don't prioritize them, it's to your own business detriment. So you can see the clear difference between these two environments. So we should not downplay the effects that collaboration, open communication, have on employees, and how it helps them to actually perform in their job. So I think that a people first environment should be chosen over a non-people first environment. And some of these things don't even cost money. They are simple strategies that you put in place. So we need to really prioritize having a people first environment.
Right. And what are those long-term consequences that you think that organizations will face if they don't consider having a people first culture?
So if you don't consider making that shift, and you ignore this, you risk losing top talent.
Yeah.
You are damaging your employer brand. You are reducing productivity, and you are ultimately becoming less competitive. And over time, this can affect profitability and sustainability.
Yeah.
Your employer brand, as I said, is not just what you state. We're a people first organization. Sometimes you are somewhere, and if you hear what some employees or past employees are saying about their organization, chai. If you are now interviewing for the organization, you even call the recruiter and tell them that, you know what, it's okay. I don't want to be there. And it's one of the things that I've now started. I encourage young professionals and people looking for jobs to do. I always tell them, look, your mental health matters. If you are going
Yeah.
into a job, ask if you have access to past employees or even present. I mean, just talk to people to have a feel of how the organization feels like, because you can't go into a job and then you start losing your head within the next month or two, because you are suffocating. There's no collaboration,
Yeah.
there's no communication, and all that. So you will lose people, and these are the people that you need to drive your strategy and ultimately bring in your profits and all that. So these are some of the consequences. You are damaging your employer brand. And there are some people, some customers, they are used to being ethical, or they want to be ethical. So if they hear that you are treating your employees bad, me, I'll not come and buy your product. I'm also like that. Once I hear you are not treating,
Likewise.
yeah, I'm very conscious about how employers treat their employees. So if I find out you are not treating your employees well, and I have family members who have businesses, and they know me already. If I come there, you are not doing me, I'll speak out. I will deal with you squarely. So every now and then I do spot checks on them, and they're like, "Hey, madam has come." Yes, we must do the right thing. We must do the right thing. It's people who's bringing in that money. So why are you not treating them right? We need to do the right thing, and these are some of the long-term consequences. So, employers and organizations need to really pay attention to this.
Right. So personally for you, in your career journey, was there a moment where you had to transition from one organization to the other because of some of these factors, that you are not being valued as an asset to the organization?
I've done it twice.
Wow. Yeah,
I've done it twice.
you have to take
Yes,
us through this.
I have done it twice. My family members, my friends, and anyone who is close to me, they know I don't prioritize money over anything. Money,
Right.
yes, it comes, but for me, the first thing is my mental health. I need it more than anything else. So if you are not valuing me and you are taking me through, I'm a very resilient person, and they
Right.
know me, very resilient, and I push through with ideas, and I'll push through. But if I realize that I'm pushing through and you're not being forthcoming, then what am I doing here?
Right.
Because I have to see my value being uh, translated into value for the organization and for the people that I'm working with. So if you're not being collaborative and then just throwing off and then not listening, for me, it's my cue that my time is up, and I need to live. So yes, for me, I've been there before, and I've had to leave twice because of some of these things. Yes.
Interesting. Right. So even when it comes to leaving, so it means literally there's a point in one's phase where they might have to consider leaving an organization because of these factors. But even when it comes to leaving, I think that there should be a right way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can you
Absolutely.
can you take us through that right way for people who have found
Abs-
themselves in a situation where they're not being valued in the organization and they are considering growth, right? As you said, your mental health is of top priority, right? I think they have to be enlightened on the right way to even take that step.
Yes, absolutely. I always tell people that unless you've packed down millions where you can look after yourself for the next 3 years, don't just leave a job without having a backup plan.
Right.
One is either you have a job or some business backdoor you are doing, or you have some savings, or your grandfather left you a pot of gold that you can fall
Mm,
on. when you leave. Other than that, don't just exit, right?
Yeah.
And documenting is absolutely necessary. I always tell people that you should document things. Things happen within the organization. You give your ideas, it's not being heard and all that. Be documenting all those processes, because sometimes some of these things come to bite you. I know some leaders that would say, oh, but you didn't say this.
Right.
And meanwhile, it has happened. Because let me give you one example. Some time back, um, there was an issue. This is a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And I gave the advice that, look, if we don't take the steps in the XYZ way, this can land us in trouble. And we could end up with a legal matter, or nobody listened. And for me, I always say I don't like lip service. If I discuss something with you in your office, I'll come back, sit on my computer and type an email and then send it to you. That's per our conversation.
Interesting.
I'm suggesting A, B, Y, C, list all the things that we've spoken about, and I'll send it to you. So this issue came back, and it came to bite us, because the group of people that were let go took the issue to the Labor Commission, and it was like, oh, Felicia, and I'm like, please hold on. I went to pull my email.
Right.
I said this exactly, and no one listened. And it's coming back to bite us. So you need to document, because you also don't want blame shifting on you as well. Also, and if you need to leave, don't also leave abruptly. Do your job, even when you are not happy. I always tell people, because sometimes you see the tendency to just go to work and not do anything because you are bitter, you are sad, you are not happy with your employer is there. I always tell them, look, even when you are bitter, that's when you should put in a lot, whilst you're also looking for alternatives to exit, because don't let it be on you that you were the one who was not doing your job.
Right.
If it gets investigated and all that, it should show that you were consistent, because when you go out there, clearly you may need references. And if the reference go back, it shouldn't be that, oh, this person was incompetent, they were not doing their job and all that. So even when you are not happy, still keep up with your job, do what you are supposed to do, go your extra mile. And you can exit when the applause is louder. You've brought in that multi-million-dollar contract, and then you exit quietly. That way, when you leave, your impact will also be felt, be felt, because then they will now see the value that you were bringing to the organization. So there's a right way to leave. Always document, especially if there are negative conversations you are talking, people are not listening. Always document it in emails, so that when it comes back to bite them, you have the evidence to pull out. And always make sure that you serve your notice period. Give your resignation and then serve your notice period before you exit, because you will need that reference some time to come. So do it the right way, and I believe that it would help your career as well.
Amazing. Okay, we are kind of wrapping up.
Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about the conference without giving away too much, because they need to pay the money. They're coming for too much. They need to pay. You need to register.
Absolutely.
Start registration now.
Now.
Don't waste any time. You can't afford to miss this conversation, right? So this is just a tip she's giving you. All right. So I want you to just give us one key idea or perspective that you'll be sharing at the conference, that you think that attendees should be looking forward to.
So just a tip of the iceberg. Just a tip. So you need to know that employee experience is a new employer brand. And what your people say about you when you are not in the room is your true brand.
Right.
And so organizations must intentionally design that experience. So come, let's have that conversation, and we'll learn about all the different tips and the different steps to take to make sure that you're putting your brand on that top pedestal, where when you are not in the room, your employees will be singing your praises and all your high horses. It's good for you, because in the long term, it will drive your business growth. So this is just a tip of the iceberg. Come and let's learn all the strategies we can put in place to improve our employer branding. So this is just a tip of the iceberg that I'm sharing. Yes.
You heard it very well. Just a tip. So come for the full package, please. You can't miss it. I'm seeing Emmanuel Duncan. He said, rightly said, listening plays a key role in managing people. Yeah, when you spoke about feedback, acting on feedback, and listening to understand the employees. I see Josephine also watching us from Takoradi. Josephine, I hope you've already registered for the conference. We've brought the conference right to Takoradi just for you, right? Make sure you register. If you are watching us, if you are listening to us, the registration link is calling out your name at this point. Make sure that you register for the conference. I see Mami Nimakwa. She said, "That's my sister." Okay. We're so proud of you watching live from Essex. Wow. Okay. We see Jerome Hilary Annan. Jerome watching from Takoradi. Jerome, I hope you've registered for the conference. Neatgate Ima, my baby girl. Okay, you have a lot of shout outs over here. Watching from Takoradi. I love the energy from Takoradi. I want to see that I want to see your names in the back end of our registration. I see Mavis Asante Apia. That's my sister. Interesting. Insightful. Yes, really, really insightful. And you have to be in the room for the depth of insight that she would be sharing with us. Akosia Yeboah, Susanna, watching from Bedfordshire. God help me pronounce this well. Well done, sis. And thank you all so much for joining us today. There are actually lots of people watching. Sweetie Asari watching us from Takoradi, maybe it's Asante Apia, Accra, Ghana. I've seen Akwesi Ampunsa. Thank you for watching. I see Nanaya. We are not left out at all. Cove Town, you're not left out at all. Not at all. I'm seeing Kweku Ajiman, Dixon, watching from London, Adam Isa Swale, watching from Tamale, Dixon Reddick, that's my sweetheart. I'm so proud of you, my love. Okay. And Rita also says, hi, sis. All right. Thank you all so much for watching us. Now, the next big thing is to register, secure your seat, and join us on the 30th of April for a very, 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 very insightful conversation. You don't want to miss any bit of this, right? So, Madam Felicia, who should absolutely not miss this conference? Like, they are watching you, so you know to call them out. Yeah.
So, if you are a leader, you are an HR professional, you are a decision maker, you sit at the table where decisions are made, and you are serious about building a sustainable organization, you should absolutely be in this room. Anyone who is responsible for people's strategy or culture will find practical insights that they can apply immediately. As I said, sometimes when you come to the room, people think, oh, it's going to cost money to apply some of these things. But we're going to give you quick wins that you can apply and see results immediately, that you don't even have to go and budget for, because we are almost getting to the second half of the year. So quick wins that you can apply immediately, and things that you can also budget for in the year to come. So if you're a decision maker, I want to see you in that room. You are an HR person, please come and let's have a conversation. You should absolutely be in this room.
Right. You've heard it very loud and clear. Now, there are people who are watching us. They've heard these insights. They are interested, but they are still considering, like, should I not be at the conference? What would you say to these set of people?
So I think that you should attend and quickly make up your mind after this, after this, and go and register, because this conference is a valuable opportunity to learn, to unlearn, and also to connect with forward-thinking professionals. We shouldn't downplay the networking aspects of conference, because sometimes you meet people within your own spaces that you can always fall on when you're stuck within what you're doing. As you see me now, I have people that I can quickly pick a phone and call. I don't know it all. When I'm stuck, I call people within my network, and sometimes these are people that I met in conferences and they've become my lifelong friends. So it's good that you come, and if you care about the future of work and want actionable insights, not just theory, this is the place to be. So please come and let's learn.
Please come and let's learn. Right. I feel like we've actually shared so much. Some people have to even pay extra for what we've just shared today, because we've given out away a lot of insights that you can to apply now ASAP. So this conference, we have a few other speakers who will be joining us. Madam Felicia Opoku Felicia will be there live, and she'll be sharing a lot to every one of us. And you want to make sure that you don't miss any session of the conference, right? We also have Kwame Afre. He's the HR manager at Talugana Limited, and he will be with us in the room. We have Mami Kia Gazy, the managing partner at 565 Consulting. And our keynote speaker is Honorable Joseph Nelson. He's the Western Regional Minister. And we also have a special guest who's going to be joining us at the conference, Nana Kobina Nketia the Fifth. He's a Manhinin of Isikado traditional area and the president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs. So you can see how this conference is packed just for you, right, to help you build an organization that would inspire people to stay and also to grow, an organization that people will believe in, right? So the conference holds on the 30th of April at the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Takoradi. All those in the comment section from Takoradi, I see you, and I know that you've started your registration, right? So we have the in-person slot and the virtual option as well. For in-person, it goes at a fee of 1,550 Ghana cedis, and the virtual option goes at a fee of 1,250 Ghana cedis. You want to make sure that you are in the room for this insightful conversation. I really want to thank Madam Felicia Opoku for making time to be here with us. As she said, she prioritizes her family a lot. She could have been spending all the time with her family on Sunday, but she honored our invitation and she is here. She has shared a few insights. These insights have been given to you freely, and we are looking forward to having you join us on the D-Day, the 30th of April, So make sure you register and come and hear more from Madam Felicia Opoku Felicia. Thank you so much, Madam Felicia, for joining
Thank you,
us.
Supernatural, for being an amazing host.
Thank you. And once again, this is SEDAT HR Digest, brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited, your trusted HR partner. At SEDAT Consult, we enable you and give you the freedom and liberty to focus on your core business while we look at the entire life cycle of your workforce, right from hiring them to training them to retaining them to compensating them, right? We have our services displayed on the screen. You reach out to us and we'll partner with you to help you build a workforce that enables you to achieve your organizational goal, right? So we have HR support and advisory and outsourcing. We also have talent acquisition and management, staff outsourcing, compensation and benefit manager, as mentioned earlier, employee engagement, training and development. We have quite a lot of trainings holding this year, and you'll be seeing most of our flyers on our social media platforms. Make sure that you do not hesitate to register for these training. We also help out with payroll outsourcing, recruitment and executive search, event management, and ushering services. Reach out to SEDAT Consult and we'll be willing to partner with your organization. Also, as we prepare for the SEDAT HR Conference, this is a call to organizations who are thinking about forward leadership. We are calling out to you. We're inviting you if you want to partner with us, to showcase your brand and also be a part of this impactful conversation that we are going to be having. Reach out to us and partner with us. Our contact is being displayed on the screen. Give us a call and let's talk on how to make this conversation impactful together, right? Thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to the next episode of the SEDAT HR Digest, where we'll be having another speaker joining us. See, SEDAT loves you so much. We are giving you the opportunity, to have a taste and a feel of what we will be giving out on the day of the conference. So don't miss out. Make sure you join us on our next episode. That's next Sunday at 4 p.m. And you will be so grateful that you had the opportunity to join us. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you next episode, 4 p.m.
Let me ask you a quick question. If someone asks your employees today, what is it really like to work in your organization? What would they say? This is exactly the conversation we'll be having at the SEDAT HR Conference 2026 in Takoradi. Call 059-140-5555 and be part of the conversation. A very big thank you to our sponsors and partners: Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Humanova by 3S Technologies, HR Network Africa, SHRP, My Health Corp, Rivia Ghana, Women Incorporated, Good News FM, and Sky Power FM. If you want to be part of the sponsors, please call 0244 629245. See you in Takoradi.
The SEDAT HR Conference 2026 is here. Western Region, are you ready? Join us on 30th April 2026 at the prestigious Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Takoradi, for the 5th edition of the SEDAT HR Conference. This edition will discuss authentic employer branding, purpose, people, and public trust. Gain insight from Felicia Opoku Felicia, Head of HR and Administration, Taka Ghana, Kwame Afren, HR Manager, Talo Ghana Limited, and Mami Ekiagezi, Managing Partner, 565 Consulting. Keynote address from Honorable Joseph Nelson, Western Regional Minister, and our special guest of honor, Nana Kobina Nketia V, a man hailing of Isikado Traditional Area and President of the Western Regional House of Chiefs. Are you a CU, HR professional, corporate communication executive, business owner, or a corporate leader? Then this conference is for you. Registration is opened in person, 1,150 Ghana cedis, virtual 1,250 Ghana cedis. To register, visit hrconference.sedatconsultlimited.com or call 0591405555. Transform your workplace, strengthen your people strategy, and lead with impact. This edition of the SEDAT HR Conference is brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited in partnership with Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Good News FM, Cambridge College of Excellence, Rivia, My Health Corp, HR Network, SHRP, Sky Power, Humanova by 3S Technologies, and Women Incorporated. See you there.